Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Welcome to our channel. Today is the last day that we're on this particular farm that we call Jack's. We were here since the snow came, and that was on Saturday, I believe it was. So this is a Tuesday. We got Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll be here all day today, Tuesday. So 4 days. That was their water source. The pond back there, we put a wire around it where they could drink under the wire. Kept them out of the pond. And we unrolled bales on here. They did graze through this. There was a little bit of stockpile underneath here. It wasn't real tall. And, you know, we just didn't get the rain when we needed it in August and September. The rains came about the end of October. It's a little bit late to be growing your fall stockpile, but we grew some, and we're thankful for what we have. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about what we don't have, just explaining what the current conditions are. But we fed 3 bales in the morning and 3 bales at night to 338 head. And I kind of look at my residual, what I have left when I feed in the morning. If I come back at night, I can kind of tell if they had enough. And you can tell by looking at them and how they act too. If the darn things act like they're starving to death, beating the gate down trying to get to the hay you're bringing in, you probably didn't give them enough. But we've got pretty good residual out here as far as the hay. And this farm, we normally are not here in the wintertime because it doesn't have, you know, piped water, frost free that is. We're gonna be going on the next paddock. We're gonna be using a hydrant tonight, and you'll get to see our siphon system, how we keep the water from freezing, because it's gonna get down to single digits. I think the high is gonna be 7 degrees on like Thursday and Friday, and we got that Arctic January weather coming at us, and so you got to deal with that. And you know, I hesitate to even tell people about temperatures, because I know there's people up north that it's summertime, Greg. You're dealing with summertime temperatures. You need to come north where it's really cold. I get it. I was born up there, y'all forget that, but I was born up just south of Duluth. It's cold up there, you know, on a dairy farm, and I remember lines freezing and, you know, 5 foot of snow. And it's one reason Mom put her foot down, told my dad, said, we're not staying here anymore. You know, after about 6 or 7 years of that, she'd had enough. And we came to Missouri, and it's been good. But you can look at the unrolling we did here. I mean, that's all been unrolled. We just put a ton of fertility on this ridge. And folks, this old ridge is pretty poor. We hadn't done much with it because it's a farm. We don't know what's going to happen with it. So you're always hesitant from year to year. Elderly couple, you know, you wonder just how much longer they're going to keep it, stuff like that. And there's a clump of broom sedge right there. But that broom sedge has got a rude awakening. Look at all that manure around that broom sedge plant. It's probably not going to make it. Broom sedge hates fertility. One of the best ways to put the hammer on broom sedge is to unroll hay on it and feed livestock on it. You just can't unroll hay on it. And I get that question a lot. Comments and even private emails saying, well, great, you talk about this hay regenerating poor soil. You can unroll it out there, but you got to make sure you get it really thin. And it's better if you're going to unroll it to have some of these, have some livestock. And I realize some of y'all don't have fence, you don't have livestock yet. But if you're going to unroll hay out on your property, if you unroll it very thick, all you're doing is killing out the sod. You're killing out whatever grass you have there. And I'm not sure that's a good thing. I mean, if you're going to unroll it, you're going to have to do some work. You got to get your pitchfork. You need to spread that stuff about probably 2 inches thick to keep it from suffocating out the existing grass stand If you put it on there real deep, you're gonna kill your grass, and you're gonna have a bunch of bare ground the next summer. There won't be anything growing there. Now, the second or third year, after that hay breaks down, you'll start growing some plants in there. But I just don't like to see bare ground on my farm, especially in the summer growing period. But man, we really put down a lot of fertilizer. I wanted to show you, Isaac took off down this hill with a bale unroller this morning on that ATV. I wouldn't have taken a truck down in here. You may not have come out. It is kind of getting a little spongy. We hit, I think it was 38 yesterday. Today's supposed to be 52. And then it's gonna just, the bottom's gonna drop out. We're gonna get cold. But that bale unroller, it's an ATV, that Great Duty bale unroller that we sell, it's a tool. You know, you don't need a $150,000 or $100,000 tractor. Most people have a side-by-side or an ATV. Well, that's what you need. It's got to be four-wheel drive, and it needs to be a minimum 500 cc's if you're going to try and unroll hay on terrain like this. This is the first really good warm sun we've had. Yesterday was pretty nice. We spent the day burning brush piles, and Jan went and got us lunch. We had a big old hot dog roast next to the fire. That was pretty neat, having lunch outside by a big, I'm talking a big fire. Couldn't get close to it, hardly burn your face. But we're gonna head over there this morning and look at it, see what it looks like. It was going so hot that you just couldn't really feed anything onto it, any more brush, because that's how hot it was. Boy, I'm looking at this farm and I can't wait to come back here in, about the middle of May and see what all this looks like. It's gonna be fantastic. Just fantastic. See, I picked out the paddock that was my highest up here. This one was the poorest. It had the most broom sedge on it. These two lower paddocks aren't quite as bad. But the fertility, if you're gonna use gravity as your friend, and you only have a limited amount of hay that you're gonna feed, we fed 18 bales here. So they were here 24. Yeah, 24 bales, because we were here 4 days, 6 bales a day. And we're using fertility and gravity to work into that next paddock down there. There's gonna be some of it that'll go down there, and we're gonna be growing grass as a result. If you feed all your hay down in a bottom paddock, it can't magically run uphill. So we're getting ready to go into the lifetime lease tonight. That's that next paddock you see on this side of those tree lines. And our hope is today at 52 that it knocks enough of this snow off the stockpile that the cows can really go after that stockpile tonight. And they're gonna be happy to do it. And we've got 7 paddocks laid out over there, 7 strips, starting at the road all the way down to that creek. And each day we're gonna give them a strip of that grass and then supplement them with a little bit of hay, because there's just not enough grass in there for 338 head for a full day on each strip. But that over on the side of that field is gonna look like this when we're done. But we're gonna be using a 4-wheeler. Folks, you can't get a big heavy truck out here on your fields when it's wet and spongy without leaving ruts. I made a mistake yesterday with the Dodge. We were over there burning those brush piles, and the smoke was getting pretty bad and a lot of sparks were coming, and I was parked a little bit too close to it, I thought, for my paint job. So I got in it, and I thought I'll just drive over there on the north side of that brush pile, because the wind was out of the north and the sparks are going south. I pulled up in there, and it was an area that Johnny had done some brush removal on. There wasn't any sod in there. And I'm telling you, that truck, all of a sudden I kind of slowed down, like, what's going on? I had it in 4-wheel drive. I got out and looked, and I mean, those tires were down about 8 inches on the front, and the back was down about 4. I got in that thing and I put it on high side, 4-wheel drive, and just kind of gave it a little bit of gas, and it started moving. And I didn't let off of it, I didn't gun it. It just started eating its way out of that mud. And I left ruts about 12 inches deep. And when the boys and I got done with lunch, that's the first thing we did, is I started using my feet and pushing in those ruts. Folks, the time to fix ruts is right when you make them. Don't leave them for another day. Get out to your foot and just push them back in. And the boys and I did that in like 3 or 4 minutes. You can't even hardly tell I made any ruts. And when it rains, it'll flush that rut out where you won't be able to see it. But I tell you what, I almost messed up. You get that big Dodge stuck and you've got something stuck. You're talking about a tractor to get it out. So I'm just glad I didn't hang it that bad. Anyway, the boys are waiting on me up here. We're gonna go check that brush pile out and burn up some residual, and got a few other projects planned. But it's a beautiful day on Green Pastures Farm here in Central Missouri. It's January 18th. Can you believe it? This month is already almost half over. We're one day closer to spring, folks. One day closer. Y'all new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on the way out. And I'm going to give a plug on the grazing schools. The beginning grazer school, believe it or not, is almost full. We just put it out about 2 weeks ago and it's almost full. So those of you on the fence, there's still going to be some room left in the advanced grazing school, but it's filling up too. So I would say in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be filled up on both schools. So don't procrastinate. If you want to think about finding out how things are done on this farm and how to make a living on the farm, a full-time living, what it takes, the necessary steps, what it's set up, the fencing and the water, the genetics, the grazing management, you name it. And we go on pasture walks. You know, we want people to get out here on the land and see exactly what we're doing, so that they can go home and reproduce the same results that we're getting here and keep your money in your pocket. That's where it belongs, folks. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. Everyone have a good one, and we'll see you down the road next time.